Could Disney be entering the Metaverse? A mixed reality art project, and a look into a Times article about what the Metaverse is and how it could change the world. I'm Daniel, and you're watching MetaBeam, your look around the Metaverse, so if that's something that you're interested in, please be sure to like and subscribe, and let's get into it. First off, we have Disney. Bob Chapek says, "Our efforts to date are merely a prologue to a time when we'll be able to connect the physical and digital worlds even more closely, allowing for storytelling without boundaries in our own Disney Metaverse." Also, it looks like it will have something to do with their Disney Plus service, something to where it's not only streaming videos, but also streaming experiences, I would imagine, from the sounds of it. Also, back in 2020, Disney's former executive vice president of digital wrote about creating a theme park metaverse where the physical and digital world converged through wearable devices and mobile phones. That's about all the information we have so far with Disney's plans on the metaverse, but it will be a fascinating ride to see what comes next. I went to Disney a few years ago, and they were already having 3D effects in different rides. So there's a lot of rides that have already started to kind of go that mixed reality route. So I can only imagine, as you're walking down the streets of Disney, seeing Mickey just kind of pop out without someone in a costume, but like an actual cartoon Mickey just kind of running around, or other characters. It'll be interesting to see what happens. Moving on, we have mixed reality and the art world joining forces. At the London Design Festival this year is a project called Medusa, and it allows visitors to see a fluid relationship between virtual and physical worlds. The article doesn't go into too much detail as to what is seen, but it talks more about the potential for mixed reality and art pieces in a public setting. Mixed reality in particular versus virtual reality. Yo-Yo Monk, the director of Medusa, says, "You cannot achieve the same agency and intimacy when you replace your physical reality with a virtual one." And I definitely think there's some truth to that. Just having been in virtual reality for the past few years, there's definitely some experiences that get somewhat diminished when your boundary comes into play. There's definitely a lot of visually just overwhelming experiences that I wish I could walk around and really just dive deeper into without having to teleport or just move the joystick to kind of move forward. And not to mention, at some of these art projects where it's more mixed reality, you can see other people's reactions and share in the moment, which it's definitely something you can do in virtual reality too. But at this point, you don't really have the facial expressions and more of the nuances that come in the actual world to, I guess, get that same experience. But as devices move forward and become more capable of sharing those type of experiences, I can see a definite benefit. Whereas right now with that art exhibit, I would have to go to London, which is something I can't do right now. But if it were all in VR, I could hop on the headset and be there right now. Definitely, pros and cons to each at this point, but going forward, we'll see what happens. But definitely very fun to see art projects starting to incorporate mixed reality. I wish there was more in the article to report on, just kind of what people are seeing and that sort of deal. But it's, I think, more talking about just the relationship of art projects and mixed reality in general. So I'll leave a link to this one and all the other articles in the description below that you can, take a look for yourself. And finally, we have a story about what the Metaverse is and how it could be used. For starters, in its essence, the Metaverse is essentially an online community. So we've kind of had a Metaverse for years, but this is now taking it to the next level. To quote the article, it is to allow a greater overlap of our digital and physical lives in wealth, socialization, productivity, shopping, and entertainment. You could also call the Metaverse Web 3. So If you look at Web, say 1.0, that's the very early stages of the internet. Then you had social media and mobile internet, and that you could call that Web 2.0. So Web 3 is the metaverse, or it's a deeper dive into the metaverse and an evolution of what the internet can mean to each of us, along with how we store money, how we store property, how we interact with each other on a more personal level. It's just a whole next step in the web experience. John Riccitello, I could be very much butchering that name, so I apologize, but the CEO of Unity, he thinks the most exciting part of the metaverse is that feeling like we're together when we're not. And that could likely lead to someone creating a company that's just as big as Apple or Facebook. The article also goes into how social interaction online is only going to become greater, and how people already, like the creator of Roblox, are having birthday parties inside virtual events. And if you don't like to party, then, work can also have a significant place in the virtual environment. Like one man who had to work from home for years before the pandemic, and he just had a cluttered office. He had multiple screens and a cat that kept getting in the way and knocking stuff over. And he discovered Oculus Quest and an app called Immersed. And he's been working inside the Quest for years now, which to me, that seems like a pretty heavy headset to work hours and hours and hours a day in. But hey, he's a pioneer. And also, he doesn't have to worry about his cat knocking over his virtual screens. So, yeah, there's a lot of potential when it comes to workspaces. Renji Bijoy, again, I might be butchering that name, but the CEO and founder of Immersed, sees VR not as a novelty, but as a quality of life tool, which totally makes sense. And beyond traditional work, there's also gaming. If you look at Axie Infinity, there are players that are training and breeding creatures, selling them on the marketplace, making a living just through that game. And as time goes on, I could definitely see just gaming become a huge part of the economy. But there's also things to be weary of. Author Matthew Ball says it's important to recognize that there are 5 really important problems we still haven't solved with mobile internet. And that's data rights, data security, radicalization, misinformation, and platform power. And in the metaverse, every one of those problems gets amplified. For example, how do you prove that it's actually you using your avatar and not someone just hacking into your account? So there's definitely a lot of things that still need to be addressed and figured out. But with the negative also comes the positive, as a lot of people see the metaverse as creating a more empathetic world where you can see the point of view of someone else a lot more easily. There's a quote that I really like in this article that says, "Even though you're behind a screen and you're behind a headset, you still see somebody." But with all the drawbacks, this technology has incredible potential to bring us closer together. As Kathy Hackle says, they're working on the printing press of the future, a way to just capture things that weren't able to be captured in the past. People years and years, like hundreds of years from now, will be able to see a moment versus reading about some kind of language that they have no idea what it even sounds like. So there's incredible potential to be had, and I'm looking forward to seeing it all unfold. So that's it for today. You can find this article and the others listed in the description below if you want to take a further read, which with this one, we only scratched the surface. So there's a lot more to get into if you're interested. But for today, I will sign off. If you liked the episode, smash the like button. Subscribe if you want to keep in touch for more, and have a great day.